Hi, I'm Haley and welcome back to my channel. I'm super excited because today I have my project pan update for the month of October. I've made some pretty good progress over the last month or so, so I'm super excited to get on into it. To start, I have my Revolution Aura Fix Setting Spray. So as you can see, I've made some pretty decent progress over the last few months since this was introduced into the project. So since the last update, I've used this product a total of 26 times for a total of 153 times since introducing this into the project, which is by far and away the most used product I have here. And that is so wild to me. I've been using this every time I do my makeup as a primer mist. And I feel like it's been pretty good for making my makeup last longer and go on smoother. So I think it's nice for that. This is, you know, the packaging is completely disintegrating. The cap is broken. You know, the writing is wearing off, but we're still going along with this one. The sprayer wasn't working very well, and then I went on vacation and I came back and it was working fine. So I don't know what's going on there. I'm enjoying it more now that the actual mister is working better, but I will say I have definitely gotten my money's worth on this, and I definitely feel like I've learned to enjoy it as a result of having this in the project, which is great. And then next up, I have my Glossier Balm.com in lavender. So I've been, you know, just using this super consistently as my main lip balm since this was introduced into the project in April, I believe. And I haven't been keeping track of usage numbers or anything like that. I've just been leaving it in my purse and applying it, you know, as needed. And I think I've made some pretty good progress. So this is what it was looking like when I first introduced it into the project. And this is what it's been looking like over the last few months. And this is what it's looking like now. So as you can see, we still have a lot of this lip balm left. There's no way we're gonna get this done before the end of the year. And I will say, I think I'm just going to declutter this, you know, at the end of the year, whether or not this is used up, because this is pretty old. This is from before the reformulation and then the reintroduction. I don't even know. This is from before they reformulated it and then brought back the old formula. This is the original formula. It's the whole thing. But anyways, this is old. So I think, you know, it's still fine. It still smells good. I just feel like for a lip product that I've been using like every day for months and months and months, like it's gotta go at the end of the year. So we're just going to try and make as much progress as we can before then. And we've been making a lot of progress so far, I feel like. So we'll see what we can do before the end of the year on this one. Next up, we have my NARS blush in the shade Luster. So this product has taken a beating. It's broken, as there are a couple of things in this project actually. But so far, we've used this a total of 135 times since introducing it into the project, with 22 of those times being used since the last update. And as you can see, this is what it's been looking like. And you know, we haven't really made any good progress, even though we've been using it so many dang times. Like at least with the spray, we can see the progress. We can see the, you know, this mist going down. Not so with this. You can see the tiniest of dips. I tried to show it a little bit, but you know, this is extremely like shimmery, so it's hard to like pack it on without it being like a ton of shimmer on the cheeks. And you know, I like this. I've been really enjoying using it, but just no progress. It is absolutely insane. But like I was saying for some of the other products, like I do feel like I've been getting my money's worth out of this. So we'll see. I'm definitely, you know, not going to roll this one into next year just because it's been too, you know, insane to be using this consistently for this many months. If you've ever tried to pan something like this, I'm sure that you'll relate. But yeah, 135 times total and nothing really to show for it, but we'll just keep working on this one until the end of the year. Then next up I have my Garfield and Glamlight highlighter from the For the Love of Lasagna palette. I've been using this highlighter for the past few months, 54 times total, 10 of those being since the last update. And this is what the highlighter is looking like. Now, I had hopes that I could potentially hit pan. I changed my brush that I was using with this, and I really like the way that it looks and lays on the skin better with a different brush, because you can just buff it into the skin more and make more of a sheen, versus like a fan brush that I was using before. I feel like just makes it really piecey and glittery, which is not really a look that I like. But by changing up the brush, I feel like I've kind of stunted my progress a little bit, because now it's wearing down in a different area. I have been using this a lot for like the inner corner, brow bone highlight, to things like that. And I've been getting a lot more enjoyment out of this than I was like at the very beginning of when this was first introduced. So that's a plus. I have been enjoying this, and I'm just going to keep using it. We'll see what progress we can make before the end of the year, but that is the progress on my Garfield highlighter. Next up, I have my I'm From Honey mask. This is from a Korean brand. I had originally had this in the project along with another mask that I've also used up, and this is what it was looking like at the beginning, and over the course of the project, it's been used a total of 20 times, with 8 of those uses being in the last month, which is pretty dang good if you ask me. And this is what it's looking like now. As you can see, it's kind of separating here, which, you know, I'm not bothered by, but it's almost done. I think we'll have this done by the next update. It's a super humectant hydrating mask, which I feel like is better for the fall months anyways. So we'll see. I'd like to finish this up because, you know, this project was what forced me to reach for these like potted masks, because I'm just not good about using them regularly otherwise. So that's been great. Still a few more uses on this one, but hopefully we will have this all used up next update. And then the next item I've been working on is the e.l.f. Stay Cool Primer Stick. This is just a pretty basic primer. I don't really think it does all that much apart from, you know, allowing your makeup to go on a little more smoothly. It does sort of purport to have these like cooling properties, which it is cooling a little bit, but I don't really know how much that is really doing for your skin or anything like that. But I have made some pretty good progress on this since introducing it a couple of months ago. So I've used it 52 total times, 25 of those times over the course of the past month. And as you can see, it is a lot smaller than it was previously, and there's a lot less product in here than there was when this was brand new, and it was pretty much brand new when I introduced this into the project. So I'm glad to see like so much of this has been used up. I don't think it's a great primer. I am enjoying using it just because I do think, you know, it works, it's fine. It doesn't have like special properties or anything like that. But I'm glad to be using this up at the rate that I am, just because I feel like, you know, that's one more thing that's not an ultimate love out of my collection, and I feel like it's motivating to at least be, you know, making good progress on one of these things, because a lot of these feel so stagnant to me, and it has been tough. But at least with this one, I feel like I am actually making good progress. Next up, I have my L'Oreal Color Riche lipstick in the shade Toasted Almond. This is a really pretty color, but it is just an absolute mess inside. You'll see on the progress photos. But you know, it's a great formula. It just needs to be in different packaging, and it's just, like I was saying, a big old mess on the inside. I've used this 37 times total, 18 of those times being in the last month. That doesn't include reapplication, so when I'm out, I'll bring this with me and reapply on the go and things like that. And I definitely see a difference. I can tell that I'm using this up. It's getting kind of like that funny used lipstick shape. And while I do really like this, I think it's really pretty on the lips. It's a gorgeous color, especially for fall. I think I'll declutter this at the end of the year just because it's so messy on the inside, and I have other lipsticks that are newer, that aren't as messy, things like that. I just feel like this is gonna melt and like snap off every time I use it, and I don't love that. But like I said, I really like this, and I'm glad to be getting as much use on this as I can before I ultimately declutter it. Then next up is a product that's been a little bit of a fail for me. This is my NYX Butter Gloss Bling in the shade Pricey, and I've only used this 2 times over the course of the last month for a total of 11 times. as you can see, there is kind of a line of demarcation where it has settled, and I don't think that's bad. This isn't old or anything like that. I bought it pretty recently. I just find that it's super slippy on the lips. You have to reapply a million times, and I just don't love the formula on this, so I'd rather just use it up and get it out of my collection. But as you can see, we have made some progress since the start, but I really need to get to using this more often. I think it's just hard having the L'Oreal one. I would always just rather reach for this one because I like the formula so much more. I can wear them together, so I should try and do that more. That'll be a goal over the next month, is to actually try and use this one up a little bit more. Then next up, I have the newest item that I've rolled in. This is my Milani Silky Matte Bronzer in the shade Suntan. This is already broken, which is super annoying. I hate broken products, especially like this, and now it's like every time I like try and put this back on to at least like, you know, sit on top of the bronzer, it like dents the actual product, which is annoying, but whatever. We've been just working along on this for the past month for a total of 26 times. Not really a dip or anything like that, but you can see like it is used. I'm not loving this totally, just like the color I feel like it's not been super flattering. Like there's a few times where I had this on and then I went to go edit a video and I saw there was like a line on my forehead. So I just don't love this. Like I just feel like it's not as easy to blend out and the shade's not as good of a match as other bronzers in my collection. So especially given that this is pretty old and it's broken, I am going to declutter this at the end of the year. But until then, I just want to see how much use I can get on this product. Like I said, it's not a bad product. I just don't think it's as good as a lot of other bronzers that I already have and really enjoy, that I'd rather give more focus to. And then we have what I think is the most exciting update in this video, probably in this series so far, and that is my Natural Luxe palette from Too Faced. This is a really old palette. It has been in this project since the very beginning, and my goal has always been to fully use up a couple of focus shades. And I can say that as of today, I have fully used up all of the shades that I have intended on focusing on in this project. So over the last month, I have fully finished up Flirty Pop, Too Good, and Ball and Chain. And then as a bonus, I've also used up Buff It Out up here, which wasn't one of my focus shades, but I did end up reaching for a lot while using this palette. So since the very beginning, we've used up Sassy Brassy, Temptation, Flirty Pop, Too Good, Ball and Chain, and then 2 bonus pans, which were Silk Robe and Buff It Out, which is really awesome. I just love like fully using things to, you know, their maximum limit. And I would love to just declutter this palette knowing that I've used all the shades I liked, like absolutely all the way up. You know, I've gotten so much use on this palette, and it's time to go to palette heaven, which is sad, but you know, it's great because then I can make more room in my collection for things that are newer, I'm using more frequently, I'm loving things like that. But yeah, super happy about this. We'll do a little slideshow of everything from the beginning on this. This is what the palette was looking like when I first introduced it into the project. This is what it's been looking like over the past few months. And then this is what it is looking like now. So for Flirty Pop, this shade right here, this was a sort of shimmery peach shade. I used it an additional 3 times since the last update for a total of 22 times to fully pan. And then Too Good, which was a cooler toned shimmery shade. I used this one another 3 times for a total of 25 uses to fully pan. And then Ball and Chain, which was a shimmery taupe, I used an additional 7 times for a total of 23 uses to fully pan. So this is great. I'm super happy to have, you know, used this up before the end of the year. Obviously, there's still a lot of shadows in here, but those were the ones that I was really loving and enjoying enough to fully feel like I can say goodbye to this palette, and I'm going to at the end of the year. And then with that, we have a roll in, and I am going to roll in some more eyeshadow. Again, I have, you know, some other palettes in my collection that I really like and enjoy, but they're getting old. Some of the shades don't perform like they used to, but in order to like say goodbye to them and not miss them, I feel like I need to get more use on them. I don't know, let me know down in the comments if that makes sense to you. Kind of just like, I really feel like I need to fully use something up in order to, you know, properly say goodbye to it. This is sounding so silly, but I have these two palettes here. These are from a brand that's actually defunct, no longer exists. This is from Musée Beauty, later known as Kailav Beauty, but I really love these palettes. This was like a really fun indie brand where everything was based off of art, which I really thought was super fun and really resonated with me. So I have here the Van Gogh palette and the Honoré palette. And I just really like these palettes, and they really got me into more colorful makeup. And I would just like to, again, get some more use on these before the end of the year, before I do my declutter. So basically, there are two shades in here that I really, really love. And I've done so many just like fun, memorable looks with over the last few years that I would like to fully use up before I say goodbye to them. And so from the Van Gogh palette, this is a really gorgeous color story that I really love. But this shade Irises right here, that is so, so pretty, has just really spoken to me. I don't know, it's just the shimmer, the shift, the shade, everything about this. I love this shade so much. It really got me to love blue eyeshadow and do a lot more brighter looks. And I just want to try and use this as much as possible before the end of the year. So I'm going to track this shade as well as one shade from the Honoré palette, which I'll show you in a second, and just use this up as much as possible. This palette also has some other pretty shades, but they just don't perform as well, and the mattes are kind of patchy, so that's why I want to just focus on this Iris shade, which I think is gorgeous. You know, and then when that's done, I feel like I can say goodbye to this palette. And then same with the Honoré palette. You can tell which shadow I love the most, and that is Garden right here. Oh my God, let's try and get a good swatch. This is like a gorgeous, I like to call it like Elphaba green. I feel like I'm not able to get a good swatch there, but it's a really reflective garden green, hence the name Garden. As you can tell, this is like a color that I really love. Again, this really got me into colorful eyeshadow, and I'd really just like to give this the most love that I can before I declutter this, because some of the other shades, while I really, really love this color story, I think this is so pretty, and this is when pink was like a lot trendier, like pink eyeshadow like really had a big moment there for a while. These just like don't perform as well. They're not as shimmery, they're not as reflective, they don't like last as well in the eye, things like that. I feel like each of these palettes both really had a standout special shade, and that was those two right there. So I just like to use them more. We'll see. I'm not expecting to fully pan these before the end of the year, but I think however much I can, you know, get done before the end of the year when I do my declutter, you know, and probably say goodbye to these, I think that'd be great. And I think this will be a good time of year to use these kinds of more colorful shadows. Like I feel like this is very Halloween, and then this one is very winter. So we'll see. Again, I would just like to use these up in a way before I declutter them. So I'll be tracking those over the last few months of the year, and then we'll see. I'll probably do a finale video and then do a full refresh at the beginning of next year versus rolling things over and continuing to work on them, just because I have a few things, like I was saying, that need to be, you know, tossed for a variety of reasons. But I've been loving working on everything this year so far, and let me know down in the comments below what you're working on, you know, what you'd like to see from a Project Pan video, things like that. I would love to hear it. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.